Did you get a nickname for that?
No, I don't think so. But
big killers. Huh?
Yeah. So that was an experience I had when I was on the ground, and but I completed my crew, and there were several. As I said, we came over as a very provisional group, and several of us came into the 90th in different squadrons, and so we all came in at the same time, and so we were all leaving about the same time. And I had finished up my crew, and so they had a bunch of new crews in, and they didn't have really leaders. They asked me to stay over for a while and go with the other crews as a leader and train them. And I said I would, and so I did. So I would go along as leader of the group or of the squadron with another crew, new crew. You know, I'd ride the right seat and take off. And so I did that for about a month. And I just, you know, then we had enough to handle it, and I said I was ready to go, and I was glad because it was very shortly after that they decided to increase the time. And then I came home. I flew home in a C-47, C-54, excuse me, C-54.
Same island hopping.
Yeah, we hopped a few. We stopped. And I don't remember which one. I remember we stopped at Kristen, and then we stopped in Hawaii. We spent the night in Hawaii, and then we flew from Hawaii straight on back. And
when would this have been?
Pardon?
When would this have been?
Well, it was a year later, so I guess, see, I got married in August. I came back in June, at the end of June.
44?
Came back. Pardon?
44?
Yeah. And of course, I saw my wife when I got back. Wasn't my wife at the time. And proposed, and we got married, and we headed back out to, my first station would have been to Los Angeles on the beach in Santa Monica, and Del Mar Hotel, right on the beach. And my wife loved the water. Of course, when I came back and proposed to her, I was on her porch on the swing, and I kept telling her what a big hero I was, you know, and we were going out the next 30 days on the beach and whatnot, and I got her all primed, and then I asked her for and so it worked out fine.
What rank were you when you came back?
Captain.
Yep.
I was ops officer for about 6 months at the squadron. And in fact, they asked me if I wanted to take over a squadron, and I figured I had enough. They shot at me enough. I was ready to go home. I didn't really want the squadron, and so I came home. But you know, we lost a lot of people. My older boy, of course, there's several books that they've written on our outfit, and one of them shows page after page of the number of crews and who they were and whatnot, shot down or missing or shot down or missing. And he couldn't believe that. You lost that many, and just your group? And I said, you bet. And they had no idea that we really, the danger we were in and the number of ones that we lost. And we lost them for all kinds of reasons. Weather, shot down by fighters, ACAC. We lost a crew right coming back over a mission, right over the airfield. We used to go in formation, and he came up deep and came right up near the front of another B-24. They were two co-pilots checked out, and he just couldn't handle the 24 well enough, and hit the nose of the one airplane. And the guy who was flying this airplane said he came right up, came right down. We knocked off the tail turret, and he said the tail turret guy was sitting right in the turret when he knocked it off. And of course they went right on down and loaded, killed the whole crew. But the other crew got two over. But that's the number of ways, you know. We lost crews many ways.
Were the newer pilots coming over when you left, were they as well trained as you all?
Yes,
did?
good pilots. They were good pilots. Well trained. It didn't take much to get them to learn, you know, what was going on and what to do and what not. They learned very quickly, and they had good crews. No.
Was the outfit much spit and polish, or was it pretty lax?
On the ground, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had. Well, one thing we had played softball. We had teams of both officers and airmen. We had a good time playing games, and we had one of the experience. One place we went into, well, like when we went from we went from Port Mercy over to Dover, which is just across the hill after the ground crew took that. And then we had to again build our own tents. We always built an officers club. We always had that, and a mess hall and whatnot. And then we went into NADZAB, and we were the first outfit into NADZAB after the Army took it. And when I went in and landed, there were parachutes all over the ground where the parachuters had gone in and whatnot. And we took that, and we again had to start building again, build our tents. We'd make some pretty good tents. We'd find the screen and wood. We'd build our tents. We wanted to build a softball field, but there was a field there, and a lot of rocks and whatnot. And all of a sudden, one of the engineers came by. A fellow came by. GI came by with a road grader. We stopped him and said, "Hey, how about come out here and level off this lab? We want to build a softball field." He said, "Oh no, God, I can't do that. I got to get to the bottom." So we brought out a couple bottles of booze. "How about this? I'll do it." And he scraped over it, and we got calls. Said, we're missing a grader. "Oh, you haven't seen him?" No, I haven't seen anyone. But he scraped off our field, and we had a softball field. And he went away with a couple of bottles of booze, so he was happy. I don't know whether he told his boss when he got there, but that was one of the things that was interesting.
Generally, how were your superior officers?
Good. Good, except this one that did the wrong turn from me, and well, we had a big meeting the next day, and the old man, he was madder than hell. Of course, first we lost an airplane, and he had fouled up, and he was a light colonel they brought over they were going to gear to be a group commander. And he had goofed once before. The commander said, "That's all for him," and they sent him back. But other than that, we had good commanders, good young fellas. And we knew what our job was to get over there, and we did it.
How about your supply train? Was it pretty good?
Yeah, I never complained. I don't think any of us complained too much about our food. Mostly with dry food, dry carrots and whatnot, potatoes. And they'd put them in water, and cook them up. But we had, it wasn't the best food in the world, but it was substantial, and I never thought much about it. That's what we had to do. That's what we had to eat.
Always booze there?
Yeah, we had booze. The club would have grape juice. I think is the only thing they had for mix. And the old man would make sure that the club had booze. And we had to be cautious. Guys get too wild if we got too much to drink. And so it was, they had plenty of booze, but we didn't overdo it. We had a job to do, and we knew we were going to be flying the next morning. And first mission I flew on, my bombardier, my top gunner, was up in his turret, and we got first mission. Zeke came up, a Japanese fighter, came right at us. Of course, I was flying number 1, 2, 3 man, and right next to the leader. And they usually went for the leader. And here he comes. And of course, he looked like he was going right at me. And of course, everybody said 11 o'clock high, And I could see the top turret, and he was facing back this way. And I yelled at him, and I said, 11 o'clock high. I said, hold him, 11 o'clock high. And he's still, and all of a sudden, the airplane went past us, and he said, "A Zeke!" And he started pull the trigger, all blasting away, and of course, the zero was gone. Well, I had a little talk with him and the crew afterwards. I just said, "That happens again, you're off the crew." He just froze, first mission, and he just froze. And